Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 873 of FloWrestling Radio Live. Happy Friday. Friday edition. These are rare. I can't remember last time we did one of these, but it was important for young JD and Tyler. And you know what? I was thankful myself. We got to enjoy the holiday party and sleep in a little bit. So we're coming at you today. Plenty to talk about. We've got a weekend of wrestling coming up that's pretty stacked. The collegiate duels being probably without question, the top action for some of the top teams. We had a duel last night.
Weekend, though.
What'd you say?
Not actually this weekend. Isn't it Monday, Tuesday?
Is it Sunday, Monday?
It's Monday, Tuesday.
I think it's Monday, Tuesday.
Okay. Well, all right. And I'll also say everything is the weekend from basically this day until New Year's Eve.
So, we got another week of work, baby, before we go to the holidays.
You know, we're making the walk. We work on weekends.
That's right.
A weekend is just, that means work for us. I don't know about you, Ben, but
grind boy stuff.
We just grind.
Actually, a weekend is busy for me usually too. Unfortunately, I mean, busier than weekdays. I'm going to Phoenix tomorrow. We got another P&L event. It's middle school division. We're doing a little camp with all the kids on Saturday, and then we're doing a tournament on Sunday. Should be a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. Very fun.
Yeah.
I'll be headed to Fort Worth later today for the Stockyard Stampede, which I know you're familiar with. Oh yeah.
Oh, for Caleb, not for Flo.
I'm gonna enter.
Stop.
I could tear up. I think if I could get in 12U True Beginner Division, it could be a good day for me.
Oh my
but
God!
As it stands,
I saw this picture that this kid who won allegedly was like 12 and won the 12U.
That is
football.
So crazy.
But there was this girl last week at my daughter's soccer game. She's like 9U or 10U or something. This girl looked like a full-grown woman, like she was that tall, you know. And the goalie from Alex team kept punting it, but she was punting it at the exact same place. She was punting it straight down the middle to midfield. And this girl who looked like an adult was at midfield. She kicked it in from midfield 3 times.
Oh my gosh. Beast mode.
Like, wait, someone should tell you to stop punting it to her because she's kicked it in from midfield 3 times now.
Yeah. Well, sometimes these kids just want to shoot the head inside single, you know, and just deal with the repercussions.
That's so true.
Okay, so we'll talk. I mean, App State pulled off a win against North Carolina. I'm going to have to talk about that. Clay Lout went down, which was the most notable upset there. But we had the return of Austin O'Connor, which is fantastic. We'll get into that. But first, this Kyle Burwick situation continues to escalate. Yesterday escalated on Twitter between Coach Chris Bono, the head coach of Wisconsin, and Brian Snyder. But I think before we get into all that, I think it would be helpful for everyone to just kind of like get caught up on like how we kind of got to this situation. So in the off season, Taylor Lamont was recruited by Wisconsin to wrestle 133 for Wisconsin this year. Taylor Lamont's an All-American for Utah Valley, very, very good wrestler. And so Wisconsin pursued him, and he ends up coming to join the team, at which point Kyle Burwick, who would have been the 33-pounder for Wisconsin, said, well, okay, it's probably time for me to look elsewhere. They're recruiting this guy to basically take my spot, so I should transfer. And he enters the portal in May?
June 13th.
June 13th. So he enters the portal, then ends up at Nebraska, transferring there. And no one's really thinking anything of this transfer other than outside of the fact that, okay, this guy who's a 2-time NCAA qualifier is now going to go to Nebraska. And we just assume that we'll see Burwick in action this year for Nebraska. That has not been the case. And the reason it has not been the case is confusing because this is a situation where both schools are saying what sounds like completely opposite things are happening when they're kind of explaining what's happening. Because on the one hand, Nebraska is saying all they have to do is sign this waiver and he would be eligible. He would be immediately eligible, and Kyle Burwick could be wrestling for Wisconsin or for Nebraska. And then Wisconsin is saying we have totally cooperated and totally support Burwick being immediately eligible. So you have they're saying completely different things, but
somebody's lying. That's what it comes down to.
lying or being a little misleading, or which
That's
I guess
lying.
that's lying.
I have to talk with my kids, Christian. You can have this. You can steal this from me.
Okay.
There's many ways to lie, guys. There's, I could
What's your
just straight up
favorite?
say JD
Stack
shirt
rank.
is green. I could say that. That's a lie. His shirt is not green, right? But you can be kind of deceitful in like leaving out part of the stuff. You could not say something, which is lying by omission when you know you should be saying something. So there's a lot of ways to lie.
Mm-hmm. So, Wisconsin. So, Andy Hamilton's been working on an article about this for some time now, and attempting to get. Coach Manning was very helpful and cooperative throughout the process. Wisconsin basically, they didn't comment us, but they basically said, hey, what we said in the statement, we're standing by that, which was Wisconsin Athletics supports current Nebraska student athlete Kyle Burwick's desire to continue his collegiate wrestling career with immediate eligibility. The UW Athletics compliance staff and administration worked with Nebraska over the past several months to help facilitate Kyle's ability to participate. The decision to grant Kyle's eligibility for the season is in the hands of the NCAA. So the NCAA did say, hey, yeah, he's not eligible, right? So the only thing that could now make him eligible is Wisconsin signing this thing, but they're not going to sign it. And the thing is called a non-participation opportunity waiver. And
NPO.
So the NPO, as we will now say it sometimes.
They should really have someone at the NCAA to answer like a phone to give us great answers on these questions. Because how simple would it be if we just call them and say like, all right, here's what person A is saying, here's what person B is saying, give it to us straight up. I mean, I have asked a few people, and it seems as though Nebraska's perspective is the more truthful one. Because I said, what's the deal here? Because Coach Snyder called me and asked me about this a while ago. And that seems to be what a lot of people think the truth is.
Yes. So Coach Bono made a tweet yesterday, which I'm not sure why. It
was came out of the blue. But I was looking if it was in reference to something, and it's not. It's just he just started.
It's like, man, no one's talking about this. Why are you bringing this front and center? So, but he does, and it's basically. Well, I'll just read it and then explain what I think he means here. He goes. Anyone see this? As a reminder, while the NCAA Division I Council continues to develop a comprehensive approach to undergraduate transfer waiver guidelines that is consistent with direction from the NCAA Board of Directors, it decided during its October-November meetings that the no participation opportunity guideline no longer be available for undergraduate transfer student athletes who do not qualify for an exemption to the transfer year of residence requirement, which is true. However, that ruling does not apply to Kyle Burwick. Kyle Burwick, as Brian Snyder, who quote tweeted this,
and posts receipts.
Yes, he basically posted an email, which I will not read because it's a little lengthy.
Super long.
But you can check it out, Brian_Snyder, or it's on your screen right now. Basically, the too long didn't read of it is. Yeah, this thing does now exist, but an athlete in Burwick's timing and situation, the university still could sign this, and he would be immediately eligible. So why I don't understand, and I would be happy to talk with Coach Bono about it, about like, hey, what's going on here? And there is the possibility that. It's just Wisconsin administration that's refusing to sign. It's not, and Coach Bono would like to, but him bringing this up, I don't understand.
Don't you think that the Wisconsin admins, they have bigger fish to fry at this point than keeping Kyle Burwick from wrestling? I mean, I don't really see what purpose it serves. They brought in someone who they like more. Clearly, that's why they brought him in.
Yes.
And Burwick. Well, he's good. He's an two-time NCAA qualifier. He's scrappy, but it's not like he took third at NCAAs last year. Mm-hmm. So the amount of Big Ten and NCAA points he scores, I don't want to say it's not going to be life-changing for Nebraska, right? It's more about like, why are you withholding this kid's ability to compete? To me, that's what it's about.
That's what we in the business call a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah, triple. Yeah. That's a quadruple win.
I think 5. I think you get the 2 individuals win, the 2 teams win, and the fans win.
Wow. That's a 5 win. I thought you just kept saying win, but you actually had a reason you said win that many times. So it's definitely ugly. It's an ugly situation. We reached out to other compliance departments to be like, hey, what's going on here? And they said, we're totally perplexed why Wisconsin is doing this. It doesn't make any sense that they're not signing it.
Yes. And that's the same thing I got too.
Yeah. And this is compliance. This is not like another coach, which maybe has a loose understanding of it. This is someone whose profession is around knowing the ins and outs of these nuanced situations. Another thing that's crappy is if Burwick had waited for the other portal window to transfer, he would be eligible at semester.
Yeah, that's what's so weird is that it's like you could potentially do it later, but be eligible without the NPO earlier. Mm-hmm. So strange.
So it's like there's multiple stupidities here. Like the NCAA just writes in all this needless rules and nuance that I just don't think are necessary, right? Not for this situation.
And because they do stuff like that, compliance as a whole can be a tricky situation. There's been multiple scenarios where it's the same situation maybe for two schools. One school's compliance says, we're good to go, this guy's eligible. Another one can say no, which is why I think there have been instances in the past where stuff like this has happened. Not specifically to the transfer portal, but a lot of times with transferring, you get two different scenarios for different compliance departments. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I know for sure all Wisconsin has to do is sign this, and they're just being spiteful. But I will say it's
seems
not a good look.
Well, and we'll read some of the quotes from this article from Nebraska's side. So this is from Nebraska's executive AD, Jamie Vaughn. He said, at this point in the process, the only thing that could be done to allow Kyle to compete would be for Wisconsin to agree to a no participation opportunity waiver. That's the only thing left for him now. We've exhausted the other possibilities. And I read you Wisconsin's statement.
And it seems one thing when I always try to say, like, who's telling the truth, Christian? One really good tell. This is for all you guys out there. If someone's willing to put their name on it and put down a really, really specific statement like that, they are more likely to be telling the truth. And
Yes.
if you want to lie or be deceitful or tell semi-truths, then right, Wisconsin didn't put their name on that. It just said the Wisconsin Athletic Department representative.
Yes.
Bono's digging his heels in though publicly.
Well, we know he's got no morals.
Sort of. I mean, he's trying to, he thinks he has receipts, but the receipts are actually not for this. They don't apply to this scenario.
They don't apply. Yeah.
Based on that, the reading of the email, which I would say it's like, man, reading that email is not crazy clear, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing, I mean the one place where I think you could have some moral standing on this would be if you were a program who hate a program and a coach who hated transfers. You said, I don't like that. I want to recruit the guys I want to recruit, and I want to keep them on my team, and I want to treat them as well as possible. But Bono's he lives in the portal. I mean, he wakes up, he bought a house next door to the portal so he could be in it all the time. That's literally what he's built his team off of. And so when you're a guy who is what?
Portal U.
Portal
I don't
U.
know. Lou Roselli's taking exception to that statement.
All these people onto your team from the portal, and none of them have been withheld by their teams, right? Was it McNally or Weiler or Gomez, Lamont, right? They haven't been withheld. And so it feels like you should have equal respect to those who are leaving your program. And the fact that he's withholding this is just, it's preposterous. I told you guys this story a long time ago, but I think it was when this Burwick thing started. I told it off air. It was actually when Keegan lost to freaking Jake Wenzel. I went to sit right by the mat, and I was yelling, "Don't shoot a high crotch, Keegan." I love you, Keegan. Don't shoot a high crotch on Jake Wenzel, for God's sakes. But I sat down to Mr. Burwick, and Mr. Burwick's dad, he's like, well, what was the deal with you and Bono? And I said, listen, I don't find him to be a trustworthy individual. And I know he loves Kyle now because Kyle was his guy. Kyle was a freaking grinder, like just put his head down, move forward. And that was why Bono really, really loved him, I mean, Bono was like, he was a Kyle Burwick guy and vice versa. And I said, listen, I know you. He's like, well, I don't see it. I'm like, well, I know you don't see it right now, but I can't promise you that you're not going to see it. And I think if there's something where head's butt, it's likely to rear its head. And he said, okay, well, that's fair, but you can go your way and I'll go mine. I said, all right, whatever. And now, maybe you should have listened to me a couple of years ago.
Yeah, kind of definitely ironic now knowing how everything's worked out. So Coach Manning is apoplectic, maybe be a word we could use here to describe his
I thought
emotions.
his statement was a little it was a little too much, maybe.
I
He
mean,
said the biggest fraud ever.
Coach Manning
He hasn't heard about this SBF guy running FTX. Man, no one told me about him.
There's a 1,000% chance Mark Manning is not dialed into that situation, nor am I. And I think that's good.
$8 billion. He was a way huger fraud. Amazing fraud.
Manning's just about that wrestling life. This is a wrestling man, and he has a flair for the dramatic, which I appreciate with Coach Manning. He said the statement that they put out was the biggest fraud I've ever seen. It said that they've worked with Nebraska for the past months. They told my AD, Trev Alberts, and 2 other associate ADs, no, that's not working with them. That's us begging them to do the right thing. They're basically taking a year of eligibility away from Burwick. We're perplexed. We're super surprised why, in this day and age, when thousands of students enter the portal, why would you not release Kyle Burwick? Why would you cost him a year of eligibility when you admit you didn't educate the student athletes of the May 1 transfer portal deadline? You never told Kyle Burwick, hey, Kyle, we're recruiting Taylor Lamont. If you want to enter the portal, you got to get in by May 1st. Which, as an aside, I don't know. Is that really... I don't know. Does that really happen, you think? I mean, that sounds like a little idealistic.
I don't think that happens. I mean, yeah, I don't know. So, I mean,
because
I think...
if you're recruiting someone, that doesn't mean they're coming.
That's correct. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I think that's... Well, first of all, Mark Manning... Brian Steiner is in crypto a little bit because we talk about it as well. He should go tell Mark Manning about SBF because SBF, huge, ginormous fraud. Way bigger than anything else that's happening here. But
full meth orgies, though.
Yeah, I think when you're thinking about building your team, though, and this is like if you're on a team that essentially has a mercenary squad where the coach is in the portal every other week to get someone new, I think you constantly should feel as like my spot is not safe. And if they can find someone better than me, they're gonna find someone better than me, 100%. Right? Yeah. That is what's gonna happen for sure. And if they didn't, that means they just weren't able to recruit them. So I don't think it's fair that they said that, but I think as a student athlete, you should know what your coach's intentions are, and you should also know like what your outs are, and really know the rules. So that's a little bit where I did find Kyle Burwick's original statement a little bit whiny, because it's like, Kyle, you're an adult. You're like 22 years old or 21 years old. Like, it's kind of incumbent on you to know the rules. Like this is affecting your life. You should have known the rules. You can't say, "Oh, I didn't know." Like, get real,
I mean, so yeah, I think it's a really crazy standard to think. All right, this school should educate them on every aspect, every nuance of NCAA transfer. Like, just look how much there is just about one little thing, one little aspect of transferring. There's so much. So I think it's a little bit of an idealistic thing, but I also think it's sort of a distraction from Nebraska's general point, which is they could sign it and make him eligible, and they won't. That's the point.
Also, part of Burwick's thing was Taylor Lamont came in after the portal. This date
existed.
Yes.
Yeah. So May 1 was the deadline to enter the portal and have like immediate eligibility, and Taylor Lamont didn't come till after that. What's that?
Or no?
I'm pretty sure May 1 is.
Okay.
So, right. and Taylor comes afterwards. So
May 24th.
May 24th. May 24th be with you. So then he enters the portal after that, but it's you're obviously outside of the May 1st window, so you're not going to be immediately eligible unless your institution will sign the NPO waiver, which Wisconsin's not going to do. They're refusing to do. Which why don't they just say we're refusing to sign this waiver for these reasons? That would be a lot more acceptable if they said, listen, this is our policy. Kyle Burwick, if they had said this, I would be like, this isn't a thing. If they said, you know what, yeah, we brought in Taylor Lamont, but we want Kyle Burwick to be here and to compete and those two to push each other to make the lineup and see what happens. But they didn't say that. They just said, we support it. We support his immediate eligibility, which I don't understand. Why didn't they just say, no, you know what, we don't want people just leaving every time we bring in someone to challenge them for the spot.
But the one you brought up, and I texted him this morning. I texted the Cal Poly guys, Rotundo, which I didn't realize this. So when Wisconsin brought in Lamont, they had 2 133s. They had Burwick and Rotundo. Mm-hmm. And honestly, just from a straight up trade standpoint, it seemed to like weird because Burwick has multiple years of eligibility left. Rotundo had 1 year, and so you bring in Lamont, who's got a singular year, and then you're kind of getting rid of the other two essentially. But Rotundo got in the portal later and still has had immediate eligibility at Cal Poly. I think that maybe to a graduation. I think he might have graduated. I'm not certain on that. I'm trying to get.
He was at Wisconsin 5 years.
So I think he graduated. I'm pretty sure.
Should have a degree by that point in time. So that's another nuance of transferring. Like the graduate transfers, it's a lot more seamless. Whereas Kyle would not be a graduate transfer, so then there's more red tape, which obviously the red tape is keeping him ineligible. So yeah, I don't.
So it sucks that we have to spend so long talking about this. Is like just make the dude eligible, be done with it. People can kind of go wherever they want. Why do we care about this one dude? It's preposterous.
Yeah, if I'm pretending that Coach Bono doesn't care about this and wants him eligible, it's like I would say that. I'd be like, man, I wish they would sign it. I would.
And then what AD is saying no?
Yeah, I know. That's what I don't understand.
Bono says sign this.
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't. But if that's the case, it would be wise for him to say that. Just be like, listen, he should be eligible. They should let him wrestle right away. I don't know why they're holding it up, but that would be, and that's not even you can do that in a way that's not throwing your administration under the bus. But you can say, hey, yeah, we like the transfers. We bring in transfers all the time. We understand the program's not for everyone and that kids are going to leave. That's part of it too. But he's not, that's not coming out. And maybe he's not allowed to. Maybe they're not letting him say that. But that's part of the understanding I don't get. Because candidly, if you're a Division I coach, this is not the look you want to give. You don't want people to think, man, if I go here and it doesn't work out, they're not going to let me leave. Like that's not what you want the rhetoric around your program to be, or the kind of like reputation. I mean, but yes. This will be a thing, right? Moving forward. Mm-hmm. So yeah, ugly situation. The article from Andy will be out.
It is out.
It is out. It will be out.
Oh,
yeah. So you can read it now. So yeah, weird situation. It does not seem like there's going to be any.
If it hasn't been resolved now.
Yeah. I think both sides are just going to get more and more dug in.
Yeah, they only got Wisconsin's only going to make it 3 more months and then the season's over.
I know.
3 whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, can we circle back to the discussion we had on Wednesday a little bit about the competing? Because I had a thought. I was thinking about it more as we left.
Yeah. And Ben's referring to, we were talking about just wrestlers wrestling less.
Wrestlers wrestling less. Well, I don't know. Remember, I had to leave. So, hey, the Truman's Rolls, they turned out nice. Unfortunately, guys, they're only going to be available in Wisconsin. About 200 grocery stores. So you're going to have to come up here, visit Haunchyville, go get a Funky Fresh spring roll bag, take it back to Texas.
Okay.
So what I was thinking about was how many more, and I don't have a figure on this. We need a quant division on it. But how many more times kids are competing on average than kids did 20 years ago, right? So like when I was in high school, I freaking loved to compete. I always loved to compete. But literally between Fargo and high school season, there was nothing. Like there was literally, you could not, I would have went somewhere, and it was like, there just wasn't opportunities to compete. And so now you have guys doing almost year round stuff. And so like, I wonder if that weighs on them, as they get to college and they've had maybe twice as many matches as someone who was wrestling 20 years ago, and not even twice as many, but also the amount of high level ones is probably way, way higher. You think of like some of these guys wrestling in college opens, how many good guys are Super 32, a lot of these all-star dual tournaments. Like if in my high school year, say I was getting 100 matches, we'll say junior, senior year, I was like competitive with the other guys nationally. I was maybe getting 15 really high level matches per year, right? So, the last couple rounds of Northern Plains, some junior duels, some Fargo, but high school season maybe like 2, 1, not a lot. I gotta think that has to have some impact on your future self, just having to stay up constantly. What do you think?
I did think about that. I actually thought about before we talked about it, and then I didn't remember to bring it up. But that is a
Yeah.
huge shift in just how much kids are competing, how the access to high level competitions are. It's not hard to find really good wrestlers, right, to compete
Yeah.
against in high school, and you can do it. You could probably do it once a month, generally, at a minimum, if you
Once a
if you want
month,
to.
you see so what some of in the PA are doing?
If you're Jack's Forest, you're wrestling ranked
Yeah.
dudes every weekend.
For
Yeah,
sure.
the Jack Forrest thing, I am so fascinated. Really, Jack Forrest and Bo Bassett, but I mean, Forrest did some more opens. I'm fascinated to watch this thing play out because on the one side of me, it says like competition is great as long as you don't get too emotional and don't take the results to heart. It's feedback, right? You can say, what do I do well? What do I do poorly? How do I get better? That type of thing. And on the other hand, it's kind of hard to take those emotions out of it because we are human. And then so having to beat up like every single weekend, like, if you think about wrestling, he's a freshman in high school, the senior at college is like 9 years away. Like to be up for 9 years, like it's a long freaking time. So I'm fascinated to see how it's gonna play out. I think either he's gonna go to the moon or it's gonna like it might tail off. I'm not really certain at this point.
Yeah, yeah. So do you think that should be tapered back a little bit for the high schoolers?
I don't
Or is
know. I mean, it was for our guys, I know we want them to have a little bit of a, probably a 3 month break. And Max even pushes longer where he doesn't want his guys going to Super 32, and a lot of them didn't this year. So Max wants their breaks to be a little longer. I think 3 months is fine. And then because you couple that with a lot of guys in Wisconsin, and this is a little bit changing because Wisconsin's getting more competitive. They're not getting a ton of good matches within the year. So Aiden Sinclair goes to the Devil's Duels last weekend. He gets 2 forfeits and 3 1-minute pins. Like that doesn't really count as like good quality matches.
Well, it's a satanic
and then a lot of our
tournament, so I think that's good.
yeah. Have you guys looked at the Christmas tournament? A bunch of our guys are going there this weekend.
Oh, he's going from Satan to a Christmas tournament? This is a very confusing schedule.
I said Satan? What?
Well, Devil's Duels. What do you think the devil is?
Come on.
The Dark Lord. The Dark Lord Duels.
Black magic,
Oh
We see
my
it,
God.
yeah.
satanic stuff.
That's too funny. I didn't even think about that. No, Minnesota Christmas tournament is
Doesn't
those
Sinclair
brackets
have a
are
really
super
good
deep.
match? Like a really good potential match?
He'll have Brady
95
Thompson this
is
weekend.
super deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogotsky and Conair is at one weight, and then the 95 is like 4 or 5 deep with really, really good guys. And then there's a few other really good weight classes.
Okay.
So is there like a set number of high level competitions or matches that you would recommend for middle school and high school or high school guys?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know what we do, but it would be it's kind of fascinating to watch what other people do, and then see, because you're balancing things too, because some kids are going to react to it with like they're going to go up because they really love it, and some kids, if you try to force them to compete all the time and they're not into it that much, especially if they're cutting weight too, they're going to start hating it, right? And they're probably way more likely to quit than anything else. And you do see that with certain high level competitors. If you look at, we looked at it, what was it, 3 weeks ago maybe, where we looked at the top 100 of one high school class, and it was like, oh my God, well, all these guys are so good. And we looked at the top 100 of another high school class, and it's like, oh my God, like no one made it. Like what the heck, like it was like 5-10% were actually like high level college wrestlers. It was weird, So I think it's one of those, it's like you'd have to really design an experiment and try it. I guess that's kind of what we're doing, is we like it the way we're doing it, and it's going pretty well, and we're having good results, so we're going to keep it up.
Is there ever a situation where a kid really wants to compete, at a high frequency, but for his benefit, you would say, no, sit these out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that to Sinclair last year. And who else was it? There was someone else. They wanted I can't remember what was. Oh, I know what it was. They wanted to go to NHSCA's, and it was like we were going um junior trials the next weekend. So that wasn't Aiden because it was someone else. We were going junior trials the next weekend. I'm like, dude, we're going junior trials. That's folk style. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
That's dumb. Like we're wrestling freestyle next week. We're at the one of the toughest high school tournaments in the country, right? Let's freaking go just compete as well as we can. This is dumb, you know? But that urge to be on a team and get some cool gear and, that kind of thing, I think that urge gets some kids. So, yeah, we push back on certain things like that. Like it's freestyle season. We're not going to freaking do NHSCA so you can be on a team and wrestle some good ranked guys. Who cares? Like, let's just focus on what we're focused on.
Yeah. So that's more, but that decision is more seasonally and tactically than like if that were a freestyle tournament, you still probably would have been like, no, don't do that because junior trials are too close.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And like, yeah, we don't do a lot of things in April because we're trying to gear up for the UWW cadets and juniors in Vegas. And yeah, I think we have our schedule pretty set, and I think it's a little less intensive than some of the other programs, especially some of the guys who do. There's some of those teams out east that do just a crap ton of fall duels, and maybe if we had the accessibility, we would do maybe one more ish, but I don't think we're gonna be wrestling every single weekend. That's just my feeling, and I'm not saying that's the right way for every single kid. That's just what I think is best for us, and it's a moderately competitive schedule where you're not going every single weekend, and you are getting some downtime. I think is healthy.
Yeah. Okay. Brief, not a ton to discuss on this, but it's certainly notable. App State knocks off North Carolina last night
in Chapel Hill.
And really, if you look through the results, the only real upset was a huge one. Was Will Miller over Clay Lout, who's ranked number 8 right now, and that was ultimately the match that flipped the duel in App State's favor. And anyone that pays close attention to college wrestling knows that App State's a really tough, scrappy team, and they don't get the blue chip recruits like a lot of other programs get, but they get the most out of their guys, and they wrestle really, really freaking hard, and they've got a lot of tough wrestlers. And if you have a lot of tough wrestlers, you can be an upset away from picking up a top 15 dual meet win. So congrats to App State and Coach John Mark Bentley. They do a great job. And
there was really only one major upset in there, correct? And that was 174.
Yeah, it went chalk. I would say the other main difference was because it was 5-5 split. Caleb Smith pinned Jack Wagner, which that's not the result you would expect, though. Rankings wise, it was what was that win was supposed to happen, but getting pinned there hurts. Milner had a major. Austin O'Connor, he had a 9-4 win over Askey. Askey's a tough guy. He's not just gonna roll over. But it's great to see O'Connor back. Right? What'd you say?
Oh, I thought my internet went out for a second. Okay,
I still got you. Is the internet in your daughter's room not as sound?
No, the problem is there's I don't know. Well, your modem plugs into the wall somewhere, and that's the room they're doing construction on. So I'm like, please do not unplug this. Leave this cord. So the cord's like in the middle of the construction. Yesterday they knocked it out one time in the afternoon, and so I'm like worried they're gonna knock it out again.
What kind of renovations you getting going?
It's not really a renovation. We've had this freaking water issue in our basement. There's kind of like a hill over on this side of our house, and all the water comes down, and so it only happens like twice a year. And so when it's like the deluge of water, it gets in the basement. It sucks. And so like last year, it only happened twice. So when it happened, we tried to do something, and then that thing did not work. And we found out the time it happened this year, And so now we're trying something else. It's hopefully this will solve it.
I hope it works. Okay. Hey, are y'all getting a lot of snow? Because I know we had some people at the offsite that were gonna have a hard time getting back.
Let's see.
All right, let's see. We're looking live.
Want to see my beautiful front yard, Christian?
Yeah, I do.
I'll show you. This is actually, I'll show you our, let's see. Can you guys see that?
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
See that light right there? That light, let's see. Oh, geez. Oh, right there.
Uh-huh.
that lights up our sledding hill. So I've just cut down all the trees. You can see that hill is nice and clear. I cut down all the trees. And so in the summer, that's a slip and slide hill. And in the winter, it's a sledding hill.
Heck yeah. That looks fun.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have
awesome because we just send the kids outside and we sit inside the front windows and say go at it.
That's the best. Now, do they? How long of a walk is it? Because you could get like my uncle. His a huge hill. Get a pulley, or like he would just pull us up on his 4-wheeler afterwards. It was very fun. Because you could get a lot of runs in.
I don't have a 4-wheeler, but the Gator is not strong enough to work in the snow.
You should get it. Why don't you get a 4-wheeler?
No, it's not like so. Keegan's dad. The first year I was here, so I don't know what year that is, 2018 or 9. Whenever the first year I was here, Keegan's dad had nowhere to store his 4-wheeler and asked him if he could put it here. And you know who was my bad influence? He said, Ben, well, let's just go drive it. It's here. You know who the bad influence was?
Mark Bader.
Clark Bader.
I knew it.
So we took Brian's dad. We took Brian's 4-wheeler. We were whipping around. But the problem is, you actually need a lot of space to get like full speed on a 4-wheeler. Like I got a decent amount of space, but it's like you can't really crank it. It's like just too dangerous. There's too many trees and rocks and hills and stuff. I don't want to die.
Yeah, but in the winter it'd be a good thing. Also, they're just really fun, but they're insanely dangerous. 4-wheelers are very dangerous.
Super fast.
Yeah. Super fun though. Okay, fine. Don't get one. Your kids will build all kinds of like endurance, hoofing it up the hill.
Yes, they will. It is actually good exercise because they get out there and they love it, so they'll just keep going. And it is. It's not. It's not an insane hill, but it's not terrible. They actually have this hill right over here on this side. And the first year I thought, oh, that's going to be a sweet hill. It's too fast. It shot me into the woods. I'd like dive off and cover, not smash into a tree too hard. It was so dumb.
It's a good thing you're indestructible, so you could do these test runs without fear of death.
Yeah. And then there was another one I tried going that way, and I actually I don't remember which child of mine. I had one of my childs on, and same thing happened. And so I like threw my child off in one direction, and I took the tree hitting.
That's awesome.
I'm so dumb.
Yeah, but you gotta live a little bit on the edge. It's fine. Gotta have some fun. Okay. Yeah. All right, now JD, get us back on the rails here because this is.
We need to make our picks.
We gotta make our picks.
There's gonna be wrestling this weekend.
I need JD. You put the team on your back right now and take over.
So compared to the past couple weekends, this weekend's a little bit lighter. Obviously, it'll pick up with collegiate duels Monday and Tuesday, but the two big duels this weekend are going to be Sunday, SDSU versus Nebraska, and Stanford versus Virginia Tech, and they're both going to be good. Let me see. I picked we got Brock Hardy versus Clay Carlson. That's the pick 'em we're doing from the SDSU Nebraska duel. And then we got Caleb Henson versus Jaden Abbas and Bryce Andonian, who I hope is wrestling, versus Daniel Cardenas for the VA Tech Stanford duel.
Right. VA Tech, baby.
I am really shocked that at this point in time that Hardy's a 2.5-point favorite. I mean, if you would have said that going into the year, people would have thought you were crazy. Mm-hmm. So,
man, if you'd have said that after his first duel, I would have said you're really crazy.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick against him for that. We're going to go a little reversion to the mean, a phrase we like to bring up. Yes. Clay Carlson has historically been really good and really hard to put points up on. So the fact that you are giving 2.5 points, I'm taking Carlson.
That's where my mind went. But I also kind of want to be opposite you.
This is where, Christian, I'm gonna give you a wrestling lesson, okay? You want a wrestling lesson?
Don't double down.
Just talking to an athlete is when you get down by a couple, Christian, you can't just go ham and try to go for the home run every time because frequently that will put you down by even more. Yes. You need to be calm, composed, and just pick at it, right?
Yeah. It's a long year.
I shouldn't be giving you advice since you're my competitor.
Yeah. I know that it's the right thing. I'll be a little more tactical. Yeah, I think Carlson is the move here. I think he covers this.
I just don't listen to advice. I'll go Hardy.
All right, I love it. JD doesn't give a rip.
Dang.
Okay.
Nebraska's a pretty big favorite in that duel, I think, to win. But
Be a good duel.
it'll be a good duel. You can watch it live on www.flowwrestling.org.
That is going to be a good duel. What
I
day
wonder
and
if they're
time?
all-
Sunday
both-
afternoon. I want to say 2 p.m.
Okay.
Let me see. I got SDSU by fall at 65. I got 97. They're winning heavyweight. They're probably winning 25. Who
You're
else?
sure?
Are the wins-
Who's winning 97?
Tanner Sloan,
Okay. So I saw Red's
right?
kind of.
He's the favorite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some good matches.
It's gonna be a good
Yeah,
duel.
Labrador versus DeVos. Where else is South Dakota really good? Obviously we talked about Carlson. Am I blanking on anyone?
Jordan's scrappy at 25.
He's gonna win probably. He's the favorite.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Cronin?
How do you outplace Cronin at Vegas? Am I wrong on
Yeah,
that?
but I think in general, I think we would probably.
DeVos is good, but he'll have labs. So
Oh, AJ Neville should win.
Neville should win. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be a close duel for sure.
Oh no, he got killed. Tanner Jordan got killed by Cronin at Vegas. I'm way off.
Yeah,
Nebraska loves Vegas.
they do.
And that is 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday.
There it is. Thank you, JD.
That's when that wrestles. Also, a reminder, you can make your picks if you want to play against us, and we'll announce the winner not till Tuesday because we have Wednesday, because we have Monday matches in here. But if you go to the website, www.flowwrestling.org, it's right there at the top.
Right there at the top.
Tanner Jordan did beat Liam Cronin last year, so we'll say toss up.
And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, there will be a link in the description.
What if you're in this room right now? What do they do?
Go to www.flowwrestling.org.
Okay. He's got an answer for every scenario.
It'll be right there at the top. Click on the title, play the weekly FRL Pick'em contest.
All right, do that.
Oh.
Okay, next match, James. Henson versus Jaden Abbas.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Abbas is a tough one.
Yeah.
'Cause he'll just straight up get destroyed sometimes. But then he'll also wrestle Yanni close sometimes. So then,
I set the line at 2.5.
case in
For
point,
Henson.
I didn't even remember this, but he got pinned by Dylan Martinez
He
this
kind of
year.
got pinned a couple times at the end of last year.
Got pinned by G. Got pinned by Corey Crooks. He lost 4-2 to Ridge. Acceptable. Got pinned by Legend Lamer. He gets pinned.
It was I think it was just a little run where he got pinned a bunch.
He needs to do the turtle game where they start on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
I think I'm gonna go Henson because I also like the points because he wins. You know, he beat Denton Spencer by a point, beat Anthony White by a point. So with the points, I'm. Oh wait, we're at Henson as the favorite.
I put
Yeah,
Henson's the
hurt you.
favorite.
For sure he
Oh
is.
man, geez, that makes it really challenging.
Yeah. It's kind of a
man,
lot of points.
What am I
but
gonna do?
it's the fact that it's it's a 2.5 point favorite for Henson, but the fact that it's a lot of points, I think it's a lot of points. But really, with Jaden, you just don't know.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, James?
I'm going Abbas to cover. I do think Henson wins, but I think it's a 1 or 2 point win. So
Where's this match?
That's
Is it west
how
to
I
east?
feel, JD.
I want to
I'm
say
going the same way as JD.
I wanna say
I
Stanford.
feel the
I
same.
think it's at Stanford too.
but double check that for me.
Yeah. I'm double checking right now.
Yeah, so I'm going Abbas. Ben, you're going Abbas
That's
as well.
Stanford. Okay. At elevation too. Palo Alto. It's way up there.
What does that mean? Something tall?
No.
The tall Palo?
The tallest
Well,
Palo.
let's see.
Which is
Palo. I'm
basically-
gonna see.
It's like sea level.
I know it is.
Yeah. If you didn't know that.
Tall tree. I told you it was the tall something.
Listen to you.
You need to
Bilingual
listen to
Ben,
me
they call
more.
him. You and
Told you it was
Caleb.
tall something or other.
You and Caleb Pyles. He does his Duolingo
Tree
thing
is
every
not-
day. He's
Tree's
obsessed.
not Palo. What is tree in Spanish?
I
Come
don't
on,
know.
guys. What's our Spanish? We don't know
Dude,
our
I
Spanish.
don't know. Let's keep it moving.
Arbol. Arbol. Because
Who are you
it's also
picking,
the
Ben?
arbol. Very good.
Who are you picking,
All right,
Ben?
keep going. I'm all over the place. I said I like JD's explanation, and I'm going to do the same as him.
Then I'm taking Henson.
The exact logic you didn't use for last pick.
At elevation. At elevation. That's going to be the factor. He might just pin him. Who knows? Okay.
But you're picking Henson to cover. Abbas would be used to the elevation.
There's no elevation, JD. It's not a real thing. It's at sea level.
He's a joke.
That's what I'm saying. You got to take this serious.
Okay.
You're down bad.
Next up, Bryce Andonian versus Daniel Cardenas. Andonian 4.5 point favorite. I'll take.
Are we sure he's wrestling?
No.
Absolutely not. Never been less sure of anything in my life.
There's I feel like a high probability he doesn't, but I kind of put this on here being hopeful because I think Daniel Cardenas is very good, and I'm picking him to cover this line.
Oh,
Cardenas is 10-0. He's 10-0, 50% bonus. His notable wins: he beat Jake Keating of UVA 12-6. He beat Peyton Keller 7-2. He has a pin.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Cardenas to cover here.
I wish I knew more about Cardenas. Like, if he was willing to say put a bear hug on Bryce Andonian and see what happens.
I would not recommend that.
That would be bad advice.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but some people do dumb things. I wish I knew more about Daniel
Goes to
Cardenas.
Stanford.
Goes to Stanford.
He cracks the books.
No, we got plenty of guys from smart schools who do stupid things.
Man, you know what?
Not direct correlation.
That is a fact. I've been so unimpressed with people that have come from like some of these prestigious universities recently. I'm like, man, how'd you go to this school? Like you are lacking in basic common sense and logic.
It's all about who
No
you know.
common sense.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've learned it. Feel like I didn't know a lot of people in those circles until I worked here, and then you're around and you're like, wow, these are just regular freaking folks. These are simple people.
Aren't Buffalo Gap people.
Friggin'
They're
Buffalo.
not that
For per capita, we got people going to Stanford and Yale and all over, coming from less than ideal means.
Yes.
Not me, that's for freaking sure. I did not attend any of those prestigious universities. But others did. Okay. Keeping it moving. What is the next match, James?
Yeah, and then we're gonna fast forward to Monday. We will have a show Monday, but there's gonna be a lot to talk about Monday, and we can maybe talk about some of the potential Tuesday matches. So I figured we'd put some of these collegiate duels matches.
Please do.
On the pick'em. These are the guaranteed. Well, obviously they're not guaranteed to go down because both guys have to step in line. But these are the guaranteed teams will duel on Monday. I start off with this first one. Ben's guy, Parker Keckeisen versus Caleb Romero.
Swolmero versus Keckeisen.
I made Keckeisen a 1.5 favorite.
I'll take Parker in that.
Yep, that's fair. I'm taking Parker also, although Caleb Romero does like to lose by 1 point, which scares me a little bit.
Parker is just adamant about riding these days. He really is. That's what made me feel more confident that he would cover. Is like
You think he'll be able to ride?
Romero? It's not just he doesn't have to get riding time necessarily. He could get a takedown at the end of a period or something like that. I do think he'll get a takedown, and I think there's a chance he could ride out the period or get an accumulative riding time sort of thing. So, or he could take him down in overtime and win. Who knows?
That's the issue with 1.5 is like it can be a super close match, one takedown later in overtime, and you cover the 1.5 line. So for that reason, you know what? I'll go Romero. I think Parker wins
by 1,
3-2 or 5-4.
This is where my needle threading thing is like. Yeah,
you should get an extra half point for it.
Would be fun, but we don't. It's not a thing.
Not a thing.
Right, next up, he's got Casey Swiderski versus Vince Cornella. 3.5 points for.
Hold on, we skipped one, guys.
Well, I thought he did that for a reason, so I just.
Just skipped it.
He just skipped it.
But we'll come back.
Skip it?
Because I just read Parker Keckeisen versus Caleb Romero first by accident.
There it is. Figured that one
But for this one, also at 184, I believe this is
Are
in
you,
the
JD, are
B
you still
pool.
hungover from the holiday party on Wednesday?
No, maybe.
No,
Marcus
he
Coleman.
he was good yesterday.
Marcus Coleman versus Trey Munoz. It's line at Coleman, 1.5 favorite, which is crazy because Coleman, or it's more crazy. Coleman majored him last year.
Really?
At, I believe NCAs, but that feels like an anomaly of a result. Like these guys are both very good, and you tell a lot of people Trey Munoz wins, and they're not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the line much more closer than the last time. But with that last result, Coleman's wrestling great this year. I'm gonna go Coleman to cover.
I like Marcus to cover this.
I like Marcus to cover as well.
Okay.
Coleman across the board. Now we can get to the Cyclones' other match.
Cyclone Malone.
Maybe let's do this.
This is probably, in my opinion, the duel of Monday: Iowa State versus Cornell.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome duel.
Casey Swiderski versus Vince Cornella.
The line is Swiderski 3.5.
I don't
a lot
like
of
this line,
points.
JD. Usually, I compliment your lines many times. I
Did
think
you
this is too
pay
much.
attention?
I think it's too much. I'm going Cornella.
Swiderski's winning by 4, guaranteed now. By 3 or 4 watch. You
I'm
know
going
what's going to
Swiderski.
happen.
I'm going Swiderski. Swiderski's my guy, and Cornella
Hey.
did not have a good CKLV.
Man, but that one, he had Carlson beaten.
And then he lost to Parker Phileas on the backside. I believe 4-1. I think was the score. Which Phileas is tough.
I'm going Swiderski also, for the record.
But
Wow.
I
okay.
think Cornella's going to be a thing.
yeah, I was.
I don't know.
Maybe
3.5 points is so many.
a lot of points. That's what I'm saying.
And I
Um,
wonder where does this happen in the weigh-in process? Like, is this first duel?
No, this is second duel.
Oh, he's gonna be feeling real good.
It was they wrestle Oregon State first.
All right, Swiderski's gonna be fully fed.
we should can we put one more pick 'em on here? A fun one?
What?
We can do it, but it won't be included in the public pick'em.
You already put them in there. I was thinking Carr versus Ramirez would be a fun pick 'em.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta give Carr what 2.5, 3.5 points.
I'll take that for David.
He looked
For
really
more?
good against
For more?
Patrick Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would probably go Carr too.
All right. Well, how many points? What would your line be since you're the linesman?
Let's see. He beat Kennedy by 5. I
So
think.
why are you equating Kennedy and
Well, it's
Ramirez?
a starting point. He didn't. I think it's.
Okay.
And I think they're very, very
That's a fair
comparable.
comp.
Okay.
I know you're a
Allegedly.
Kennedy hater, but that is a fair comparison.
I mean, Ramirez was round of 12 last year. There's a possibility it's fair, but I don't know that we've
I
seen
would
that
set
yet.
it at
2.5
or 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5. Wow. All right, that's fair.
Avery says 4.5, but you don't like him. You're gonna fight him at some point, JD.
If he
Who's
knows where to
Avery?
find me.
Avery,
The Avery
Avery
brothers?
Lynch.
Wasn't
Avery,
that their name?
he's a big YouTube chat guy, and he and JD are going to fight.
Stephen
Pretty
Avery. Don't want to fight that man.
That's true.
He's hard to fight. If you're fighting Stephen Avery, you've messed up also. Because that man
Oh
is
my God, guys!
he's incarcerated.
Stephen Avery. He was like, "Hey, can I go watch WWE tonight? I'll tell you I did it." And they're like, "Yeah, you can."
That
if
was
you would tell-
Dassey. That was Dassey.
Oh, that was yeah,
Listen.
you can. If you tell us you did it, you can go watch the WWE. All right, great, I did it.
All right,
what?
fine, I killed her.
That happened.
Man,
What?
that happened, and they still got Dassey jammed up.
Oh my gosh, that was preposterous. It was not
You know
fair.
what? I'm not even gonna make a WWE joke, but Brendan Dassey loved WWE. He would love this milk stuff. He's from Wisconsin. He'd be like, no one
my
told me
God.
there was a milk hose out
He'd
there.
be drinking straight from the hose.
He's like, man,
Wow.
Do we want to run through this Iowa State Cornell duel quickly?
we could do it Monday though,
We could.
because it's 9/11. a.m.
Yeah, 'cause we'll probably be
Never
on
forget.
before that happens, I would have to assume.
Yes, we'll do the show before it happens. I think Avery, do you live in Austin, Texas? Because we could run it right now. We got the mats. The mats are down. We could just straight run
Let's
it.
do it. I'm so in.
We
Pull
could
up.
literally open the doors, 9:45. You can come in, and you could take your pick. You could wrestle right on the same mat that Carter Strachey and Mekhi Lewis wrestled on.
Oh, baby, let's
It's right out
go.
there.
We'll see. JD's not hard to find. No, sir. All right. What's our next match, though?
Next match, Yanni versus Pinheiro.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
Mediani.
yeah.
Made Yanni a 3.5-point favorite.
That is a good one.
What do you think,
Oh, my
Ben?
goodness. Yanni's going to want to cover so bad. He's going to work hard. But is he going to, take some shots and Pinheiro's going to get a quick run behind and then it's going to end up being close?
Or here's what I would say in that vein. Is it more likely that Yanni's like, all right, I'm not going to get reattacked. I'm just going to pick the right spot one time, get a takedown, and win the match?
Yeah. It's a good one.
I kind of wondering. Man, I don't know. JD already put Pinheiro. He is just all in. I think Yanni.
Yeah. So Cornell, Iowa State happens at 2 p.m. Central, and so does Ohio State UNI. That's two good duels happening at the same time.
Yes.
Dang.
Who you picking, bro?
Oh man. This is a tough one. I will go. I'm gonna go Yanni, but I'm not feeling super confident because I think he doesn't really ride a lot, so that it does make it hard to put up a 4-point differential if the guy gets off bottom and he's not that much worse than you.
I will say that match is not guaranteed to happen. Coach Gray was on the Bader show a while back and said Yanni will be going and weighing in, but they hadn't decided exactly how they were going to use him.
Interesting.
So, but I think it'll be a close duel, an important duel, so they might need him.
Yeah, I mean, he just wrestled in World Cup. It's a quick snip, snap, snip for him.
Yeah,
all right, next.
Really is.
Next up.
This one got a lot more interesting after CKLV when Mendez did not wrestle. Cal Biscaglia balled out. Granted, it was kind of on the backside, but
Those count.
those count, which is why he's ranked ahead of Mendez right now. Cal Biscaglia is currently ranked 10th. Jesse Mendez is 14. Now, I still made Jesse Mendez a favorite by 2.5 points because I think both of you would probably pick Mendez straight up at the head as well as most of the public.
Yeah, and as good as he beat Chris Cannon and Dylan Ragusan. Holy cow!
Yes,
but on the other hand, he at the same tournament he lost to Chance Rich, who's good, not great, and he started his year with a loss to Evan Frost, Kyle Biscaglia. So definitely a mixed bag of results. He has a very unique style,
and I think honestly, it's a style not great for Jesse. It's going to be tough for Jesse.
Yeah,
he's gonna grab Jesse's wrist, slow him down. He's ride him tough on top.
Mm-hmm.
That being said,
yeah,
2.5 points.
I know. Like I could definitely see Mendez winning
He lost 7-4 to Chance Rich. He lost 8-6 to Evan.
I think
Frost.
Mendez is going to sting them from the outside, and then Biscaglia's a beast on top, so I guess we'll see what Mendez's bottom looks like if he gets there, because Biscaglia is really, really good on top. But I think Mendez stings him from the outside and wins by more than 2.5.
Yeah.
I'm going Mendez, but I could also see a scenario where Jesse wins the takedown battle 2-0 or something like that. But because Biscaglia is able to escape and maybe get a riding time point where we see a 1 or 2 point match, but it like one of those ones where Jesse kind of dominated, but because of the escapes, it's close. It's within the means late 1 or 2 points, but I'll go Jesse to cover.
3-point win.
He wins 5-2.
5-2.
That's 3 points. Covers the 2.5 line. And maybe I'm not giving enough credit to Biscaglia, who just is coming off a great performance in Vegas.
Yeah, I'll take Kyle
A great day 2 in
to
Vegas.
cover.
Wow, Christian, you are the biggest Mendez lover. I can't believe you're going the other direction.
I mean, I'm not saying he's losing the match. But Kyle Biscaglia is a very specific type of guy. Now he could run him over, but man, if Ragusin had a hard time with him, Chris Cannon had a hard time with him, I don't know. It would stand to reason that Jesse Mendez, who we have not seen in a little bit now, would have a hard time. All right, next one.
Wait.
Michael Beard versus Bernie Truax.
Oh, baby. Hey, that pool is actually fire at 197 because we're going to have Trumbull also. So you're going to have Trumbull, Truex, and Beard all in the same pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's a deep pool.
That's good.
Ben, are you a good swimmer? I could see you being terrible at swimming. How are you?
I freaking suck. I'm awful. I can't swim with it.
Yeah. I
don't know why.
Why did that come up? Pool.
Deep pool. Can Ben swim? Sort of.
Actually, I'm probably going to swim.
Sort of. I'll make it to the end. I'll make it to the end.
Really?
There's this really funny story though. In Coach Smith's probably second year, this is pre me. They went to Wyoming and they got gassed out because of the elevation. And he got so mad, and Coach Smith made him do a pool workout the next morning. And Tyron got so tired in the pool in that elevation.
Oh man.
It's a tough combo.
Swimming is exhausting.
Sure. What?
I do this thing now where because Barton Springs now is free 24 hours, or not 24 hours, but the hours that it's open. I'll go run a couple miles and just hop in the pool right after.
Oh wow.
Nice. That's cool.
It's a better fitness routine than Cosmo Kramer. He used to swim in the East River.
Yeah, it's a little more clean.
Yeah, probably so.
Natural spring pool. Outdoor.
That's pretty awesome. What a life you live, JD.
Same temperature year round. So.
Oh really? But that's cold, right?
It is quite chilly. But actually, once you now, when it's in the 40s, 50s, it's warmer in the water. So sometimes it's not too bad.
Thinking about swimming, I can't remember a hunger more strong than like that post-pool hunger when you're a kid. Like that's when you could just eat.
Really?
Oh my gosh. I just remember like just being ravenous after
because you're doing like an actual workout.
Yeah.
Basically.
But you don't even realize it.
That's right.
Yeah. How fun are pools? Okay. What are we on? Speaking of pools, Michael Beard versus Bernie Truax. 1.5 for Michael Beard. He looked pretty nice.
Feel good. I'm going Truax to cover.
Yep.
Yeah, because I like the idea of getting him for the win or just a 1-point loss, so I got him.
Yeah.
And I think this will be Truax's. This will be his first big test. Up at 97. Yeah. So it'll be yeah. I guess Michael Foy's not bad, and he pinned him. Yeah, Jackson Smith isn't bad either. He beat him by 2. So it won't be the first decent test, but the first really, really big test for him. We'll see if he can, because the state of 197. If Bernie can get a win here, it's like, hey, dude, you're a legit title contender at this weight.
Yeah, I mean, in that pool right there, you're gonna have, those 3, right? But then one of them is gonna obviously whoever wins, because you think Penn State's likely to win. They're gonna have the crossover then against Max Dean, right? So someone's gonna have 3 really good matches where if they win all 3. And maybe it's, I guess probably NC State is the most likely to be that. I mean, if Trumbull won all 3, he'd be going super high in the rankings. I think that's probably less likely than Beard or Truax.
Yes, I would agree with that. Okay. Do we want to do some questions?
Hey, kind of stinks Bastida's not in that pool. We should just
yeah.
Those don't cross over, I think.
They do not.
So they won't have Penn State.
No, Iowa State will not.
But
that'd be Bastida Iowa State, Penn State. Let's go.
Yeah, Iowa State could win. I've talked myself into it.
Against Penn State?
Yeah.
How do they win? Well, they can win 25.
They could win 6 matches.
The Sion Williams Bowl. They can win 25.
They win 25, lose 33. You're
41. They could win 41,
Barwick.
49, 57, 65. Obviously lose 74, 84.
57?
Yeah, Crazer over Bear Claw? That's not
No,
crazy.
No,
I-
no, they
but
both.
it's not crazy.
Bear Claw's winning.
I think it's crazy. Crazer is not beating Bear Claw.
They could win.
I mean, he's lost the worst. Maybe it's not crazy. I think that would be an upset.
Yeah, well, I'm not denying that, but like they could definitely. I think Crazer could definitely win. I'm not saying probably wouldn't predict it, but that's not that crazy of an upset in my opinion. And then they
Bear
lose
Claw.
74-84, but they win 97. Lose heavyweight. That's 6 matches.
Skylar over Kirkfleet brings it home.
No, that'd be 6 matches
know.
for Iowa State.
No, it's
No.
definitely going to be in the balance for sure. How about Swiderski Bartlett NCAA Finals preview? Possibly you.
No, they got to get past Cornell
Who
first.
who was I talking to the other day that was like Bo Bartlett can win NCAAs? It was someone at the
You're
office.
you're talking to yourself in the mirror.
I do that, just like Shane Sparks. Remember when Shane said he just looks at himself in the mirror? He
Oh
called
my God.
himself an idiot.
How was Shane at the holiday party? Was he fun?
Yeah, he's good. Honestly, the holiday party was amazing. It was at the Moody Center, which is super. It's where UT plays basketball. Very nice place, but like, it was like more of a narrow sort of band. It's hard to like see everyone, but Shane was good. He's always trying to get his takes out.
Oh yeah. And then freaking Robles shows bottom.
And I said you shouldn't have done it. You just shouldn't have done it.
Oh,
If only that
Shane.
match had happened, we would know for sure what the right choice would have been.
Hey, we need to talk about this UFC deal.
Yes, we do.
People in the chair talking about it. I don't fully understand it. I think the UFC just wants to, get into that market. But I thought the funny thing was you could pretty much throw a dart at college wrestling programs and hit one with who's at a high level UFC caliber athlete. And Iowa's like the one that doesn't. So I think it's kind of funny that they are the one the UFC is sponsoring.
Well, what I would say here, as I've been thinking about it, and people have been asking me, like what to make of it. UFC obviously is like wrestling is feeding a lot of MMA, as is jiu-jitsu. So I think they're just trying to get a little more penetration into both of those. And I mean, Iowa is the most prestigious brand in college wrestling, most tradition rich, so it makes sense. But the way I thought about it was like, okay, they probably have a harder time building new women's stars. So what could be a pipeline for women's stars? The number one brand right now, Iowa wrestling, women's wrestling is the only Power 5 school with wrestling. All the best women's wrestlers are probably going to go there by and large. So you're going to have this a pipeline potentially of ladies from Iowa wrestling to
Good point.
UFC.
including A1 Bellamere,
Bellamere,
daughter of Frank Mir.
So I think that's kind of, as I thought about like tactically, like, all right, this would probably help them. If you had like an Iowa women's wrestler who was awesome and then transitioned to MMA, that would be someone that comes in with a built-in fan base behind them.
Yeah, great point. And then I mean, obviously they do have a bigger fan base than any other college program for certain.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that was a great point about the girls program though.
Yep. So that was my thought.
I wonder how much you think it's just a lot of money, or think it's gonna be exposure, or what do you think they're gonna do with it?
I think it's probably exposure right now. I wouldn't be surprised if UFC Fight Pass did a duel, the Battle at Bragg with Campbell and Michigan. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried something like that with Iowa on Fight Pass. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So I think it'll be a lot of signage and just like marketing synergy, whatever.
I did notice in what duel was it? The Iowa State duel. The UFC was advertising in Carver Hawkeye Arena on their little like electronic board that you can see mats, and I thought that was interesting. This was before I had no idea this was going to be a deal.
JD Rader.
But I noted on the watch party, or somebody did, like, it's interesting, the UFC marketing in Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Yeah, makes sense.
And now we see.
Yeah, I mean, the other way I thought about it too is maybe that's where they currently have the least penetration, because say someone like Oklahoma State has had a lot of guys go fight. Arizona State had a lot of guys go fight. You could talk about a lot of programs like that and Iowa's one of the big ones who hasn't. So maybe they look at their numbers and they say, our numbers are crap in Iowa. How can we, get another 10,000 pay-per-views per Saturday or something to that effect?
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hey, this question made me laugh out loud.
Okay.
I just got to read it. So Chris Eames, Coastal 2121. I would 100% believe Spencer Lee could ride Micah Jordan. Could he also do it to Bo Jordan? And so, I think he's right on the Micah, but then the Bo made me laugh because there's no way he's keeping Bo down. Bo's too big and too strong. He's just going to stand up and Spencer might be up on his back, but he ain't keeping him down.
I don't know. I don't think he could. I think that's a Bo Jordan, especially right now. Bo Jordan's a big person.
Very large.
Looks like a beast. Yeah, he can't ride Bo. I don't know if he'd ride Micah. 49, 57. Yeah, maybe. He did struggle underneath, but the size advantage. We just really need Spencer to do it against Tyler Meisinger, our guy, and then that'll be a good starting
Spencer's
point.
riding Tyler Meisinger for sure.
The disrespect.
I hope Tyler's listening to this. He'll
Tyler,
be mad.
you're not getting off bottom.
Man, hater of the year, Ben Askren.
I need to see this now.
Now I really need to see
about one
it.
of the most elite top wrestlers ever in NCAA history.
Yes.
Or if Tyler gets off bottom, he's already given up 8 back points, and no one gives a crap if he gets a 1-point escape.
He might get it, though. He might get it. All right. Other question. Wick Jacoby. Kale versus Jaden.
No, not this guy. Wick Jacoby, I love that you're a Missouri fan. He might be a stalker of you, Christian. I'm starting to worry about him.
He's a weirdo. He's a weird person. Weird person. It's not a good sign.
Really hard.
It's not a good sign when the FRL question asker, actual cannibal, is a more of a sensible inquirer than Wick Jacoby. This guy
actually makes it a little uncomfortable though.
But there's a lot of weirdos on Twitter. I've found. There's worse. There's people that annoy me far more than Wick Jacoby. I appreciate that he listens, even though he's largely wrong about almost everything.
He sounds like a very highly intelligent individual, as he said. Thank you, Mr. Rader, the real one.
See, that to me is Exhibit A, just clouded judgment.
And for no reason, like normally we talk about people catching strays, but this was a good stray to catch.
Yeah, good stray for you. Yeah, Jaden versus Kale. I don't think so. I think it would be. I do think that is a tough type of matchup for one Kale, but I think he wins by probably 3-4 points, probably. Prime versus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if Pinheiro wins out, will he get the 1 seed at NCAAs? Yeah, I think so. Especially if he beats Yanni, because Gomez.
If he beats Yanni and wins out, there's no question.
If Gomez wins Big Tens, then that's going to keep him elevated. And yeah, I think he would. I think he would be the one. I think we're going to look back at all this Pinheiro stuff, and this guy's going to be taking some losses between now and Big 12s. As good as he is, he's going to come back a little bit. And I think he should be ranked higher. I am no hater. G Graham wanted us to talk about the Burwick situation. We got out in front of it, G Graham.
I don't know, G Graham. I didn't know that G Graham followed college wrestling still. What's he doing with his life?
Oh, he's following. He's in it. I don't know. What we get?
He's a doctor.
He's not a doctor.
Really? I think he's a nurse.
Okay. Wow.
Cool.
I want him. I want to see him give someone an IV. See him in action.
Calm down.
I think there's a scenario if Yanni doesn't wrestle and Pinheiro wins out, he's the number 1 seed.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because of how the percentage breakdown of what seeding goes to NCAA seeding. It's head-to-head competition, 25%. Quality wins, 20%. Coaches rank, 15. Results against common opponents, 10. RPI, 10. Qualifying event placement, 10. Win percentage, 10.
Who all could Pinheiro hit at collegiate duels apart from Yanni?
So they wrestle 140 Oregon State, Cornell, and then depends on if they win or lose. He could wrestle Shane Van Ness. If
Van Ness could be Pinheiro.
Or
We had this
Demons
discussion.
for Cal
Yes,
Poly.
Yeah, this is when Van Ness steals the Pinheiro spotlight. That'd be my prediction.
That'd be fun.
That'd be a great match. Okay,
Mhm.
so he could hit Yanni, he could hit Shane Van Ness. They're going to the scuffle, maybe. According to Coach Dresser.
starters are going. Most of them TBD on exactly everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But
They're gonna wrestle.
I would expect Pinheiro to go.
They also wrestle Kyle Parco, Arizona State, and Ames. That's a tough match. Oklahoma's got some. They got to have a Moore brother there, right? There's got to be a Moore brother for Oklahoma. He'll wrestle Voinovich probably. He's got to go to Mitch Moore is involved.
Mahler again, or Mahler. He hasn't wrestled him yet.
He's got to go to the Fighting Brackies, whoever they have at 49. 49 for UNI. Who are they wrestling? 49. Oh, Real Budo.
Budo's tough match. Yeah,
tough match. He's. I'm gonna set the over on it right now. 2.5 losses for Pinheiro going into Big 12s.
Yeah.
Going into Big 12s, not NCAAs.
Going into 12s.
Oh, going into. I'm gonna say less. I'm gonna say 1 or 2.
Okay.
I will unfortunately pick the over.
Hey, oh no, we won't have.
No. Under.
You're going.
Wait, check my contract. Coach
Dresser just texted him. He just texted. I just see it right here. It says under.
Don't even think about picking the over.
No, we'll see. I'm excited. Listen, I love that we have this sort of a surprising star.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's great. There's nothing wrong with him losing 3 matches this year. Okay, but yeah, he's gonna hit some horses along the way.
Yes.
All right, other questions from our friends. Thank you, G Grim. Means a lot. Odds of Shane Van Ness becoming an All-American. What about Facundo? Van Ness, I feel almost certain he'll place. I think he'll find a way.
2/3 on Van Ness, and I'm only going to go 1/3 chance on Facundo because of the depth of the weight class.
Yeah, that's about where I am.
That's fair.
I may your hair is wild right now. You look like you're about to wrestle Herbert. Let's go. What a
I
crazy.
need to get a haircut, maybe.
It's puffier than usual. Hey, is that one piece of hair still growing weird? You have to cut?
Well, I have the one that I cut usually that comes down because it comes right in front of my eyes, so I hate it.
You cut it live on the show that one time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was the first haircut in FRL
that's
history.
the one that you cut right there because it goes right down right there.
Oh, my gosh. You look kind of like an Oompa Loompa there. You pulled it back.
Watch your mouth. I'm going to have Wick Jacoby come to Austin.
He probably, for all I know, he's in the parking lot right now.
I'm going to give him the FRL address.
Yeah.
Pyles versus Jacoby, me versus Avery.
There you go.
Yeah, see,
parking lot
that's the thing. Avery, for all the trash he talked, he's like, oh, I need some time to get in shape. Well, that's just the thing. JD Rader stays in shape. He's swimming in the Barton Springs pool after his runs.
That's right.
He's training. So, no, you don't have that opportunity.
You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
All right, Brian Murphy has an idea. This isn't really a question. This is a statement from a friend. Riding should be de-emphasized. It's not entertaining like neutral wrestling. I'd recommend one or more of the following. No riding time. Every period starts neutral. Call tolling on top man when no attempt to turn.
I only like number 3.
I was going to say that's the one I like the most. Riding time's fine. But yeah, everyone. But then again, if you need to get rid of riding time for number 3 to be a thing, in my opinion, because you've said that riding time, just riding someone is a goal. So you can't get mad when they pursue that goal.
Are you sure? I think the rulebook says you need to be pursuing a turn as the top man. I believe that's what the rulebook says.
I think so too, but it's contradictory when you give a point that for just riding with no turn.
Mm-hmm.
So either, in my opinion, you say to get riding time, you need a turn, or you institute insta-death.
I mean, so in my estimation, what the riding time point is you were dominant enough to stay on top of someone for 1 minute, right? Because folks don't emphasize this control. but you did not have the ability to turn them. So we still want to give you some type of reward for your ability to do that. That's kind of what in my thoughts. And so I don't think you need to take that away to call stalling more. I think if someone is not pursuing a turn, they should get called for stalling. If you can ride someone aggressively and say attempt to turn them, you're grinding them, you will not get called for stalling and you will get the ride time point, and that's fine.
Or I would say give the top guy like 15 seconds. If he's not able to turn them, just put them back up on their feet, free of charge. Continue wrestling. I would also institute that. That sounds like a fun thing to do.
And insta-death.
And insta-death. All right, this is a good question.
In my opinion, also, if folk style is all about control, there should be no break in periods.
Copy that.
Nope.
Because I get it. It's much more entertaining to do a break in periods. But if you get the first takedown, if folk style wrestling's all about control and being able to control someone, why are you giving that guy the opportunity to get out free of charge? Like giving him a restart. Like if you got on top and the other guy can't get away, ride that dude for 7 minutes if you can.
Okay.
But insta death.
I don't totally hate it.
Question from Tanner Huffman. What's the future of USA Wrestling heavyweight? What is Zilmer's ceiling? Is there other talent in the pipeline we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah,
I think Kirkfleet for sure.
Kirkwich.
I think he's, if I had to say, hey, other than you know who, the boogeyman, he's too busy shooting milk to make the walk. Although it sounds like he might want him to come back. I think he's coming back at some point. We will see Gable wrestle again. But Gable notwithstanding, I think Kirkfleet has a lot of promise for freestyle.
So how do you feel about Mason Paris then? Not as good?
Well, I feel good about him, but he can't beat Kirkfleet.
What about Great American Hero Wyatt Hendrickson has continued to improve, and he is mandated to serve our country for 5 years. What better way to serve it than go pin some Iranians and Russians?
That is a good point. That's a great point. Let me. I guess someone
would probably say Feldman as well.
Now, Feldman, I think Feldman needs to get a little bigger before I put him in. Well, yeah, Feldman has to do a lot before I'm putting him in that, honestly.
Because he could be 213.
That big Iranian threw him around.
Yeah,
Junior Worlds
it was good though. He's so good.
Yeah, he is. But those guys are out there. Let me find this. 125. So
what are you looking at right now?
I'm just looking at trial. So Kirkfleet beat Paris 4-4. And then, didn't they wrestle in consolation side too? Oh, no. Mason wrestled back for third. He beat Tony Nelson because Nelson beat Kirkfleet. So, Kirkfleet's beaten him in freestyle, and he's only gotten better since that point in time. So, yeah, I think probably I would say he's the heavyweight of the future. And he seems to be like evolving a little more than Mason is.
Has he publicly said if he plans to go the MMA route after 2024?
He was he didn't give a specific thing other than it sounds like he's going to pursue freestyle for at least a period of time.
But I know he is also very interested in pursuing MMA.
Yeah, I feel certain he's going to do MMA at some point.
You talking about Mason Paris?
Daniel Gregory Kirkfleet.
Kirkfleet. Okay, good. Anthony Cassar just made his pro debut, I believe.
He did.
Tap that dude out after knocking him down with a punch.
I wonder how good he can be.
NCAA wrestlers can be really good. Let's see how fast he progresses.
He's a good athlete. You know, he's
the man who beat Gable.
He's come from the same cloth as Bo in terms of work ethic and like dedication, which will go a long way. The biggest question is probably
health,
shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, TJ Dillashaw, his shoulder just comes out all the time. Like that's one of those things that.
He's also UFC champion.
Reigning right now?
No.
Oh, he was.
I said he was.
Yeah. But did he have those kind of shoulder things coming into his career?
I'm not sure.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yep. So hopefully he can remain healthy. I'd love to see him.
He's living the life with Bo Nickel right there in State College at their gym, so it's good.
All right.
Good place to be.
Question from Detroit Style Pizza is number 1 at FRL listener. Last week, you guys briefly mentioned that Coach Brian Smith is Tier 1. How are Kale and company not on Tier 1 island? That's fair.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's maybe a passing comment, but yeah, they're on an island all their own. That's for certain. Okay, why don't we beat it? Anything else before we go? Call it a weekend.
See you guys. I'll be live from Phoenix next Monday because I'll still be there because we're all gonna meet. So I'm gonna wake up a little bit earlier for you guys because I think we're on. I think Phoenix is funny because they're Mountain Time sometimes and Pacific Time sometimes.
Arizona is whack.
Don't recognize daylight savings.
What are they doing?
They don't recognize daylight savings time. It's awesome.
What is just? Can we get on the same page? You should not have a choice. What time it is? You can't just decide what time it is.
Better in Indiana that splits their state in half.
Well, at least it's split in half. Like it's not like, oh, this city is this and this, like all these little pockets of different times. It's just that's not the kind
they
of.
still recognize daylight savings, so it switches.
I don't like it. But I want to get rid of Mountain Time.
It doesn't sit right with Christian Pyles.
It doesn't sit right with me. That's just it. Anyway, well, we thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great weekend. Good luck to everyone competing out there this weekend. College, high school, youth,
the pick'em contest.
Pick'em contest. Find a way to compete in something. It's fun.
Yes.
We'll be back Monday. Programming note, next week we're Monday, Wednesday, off Thursday. And then we'll be back after Christmas week that Thursday, which is a date. I don't know it.
29th.
29.
Yep, there it is. Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.